And welcome back to Leading Edge. Good to have you along. Not sure what you guys are doing with your summers, but something, I hope. All of us, though, would have trouble keeping up with what my next guest is doing. Dr. Chris Willis joining us now from somewhere along his cross-country bicycle route. Dr. Willis, an associate professor in the College of Education and Human Development at BGSU. So hi to you as we talk late in the week here. Welcome in. Where are you?
I am in Bay City, Wisconsin, with the Mississippi River right behind me this morning.
Wow. Okay, that is the Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You started way up in the Northwest, Washington State. Dr. Willis is taking what I read is the northern tier route across America, starting up in Washington State back in, I think, early June. So here we are. Are you on schedule? I think you want to average somewhere, and this boggles my mind, in the neighborhood of 80 to 90 miles a day. How are we doing on that?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. I'd say we've hit our targets. I have my son with me. He's helping support me with getting gear from point to point, but we're making really strong progress, and we're right on schedule at this point.
All right, Chris Willis, my guest. I read where we're going to talk about you're going to raise some funds and what your cause is. I'll get you to there, but I read where this didn't really start out, I don't think, as a fundraiser. I don't know, was this a bucket list thing or what?
Absolutely. I started, I think, like a lot of folks my age, when Greg LeMond won the Tour de France in the mid 80s, we all went out and thought our 10 speeds were race bikes, and we all started riding around, and I found a group of friends that I started riding quite a bit with and doing some small touring with. Took about a 20-year hiatus to get graduate degrees and start family and career. But then I always had this kind of in the back of my mind as something that I wanted to do, and set the summer of 2021 as the time to do it. And here I am.
Yeah. And then, and I alluded to this, you turned it into a vehicle to both spotlight and raise money for public education. So in your day job, I think you're a teacher of teachers, or of tomorrow's teachers. Is that it, or is there something more to your support of public education? Is it too often getting short shrift?
Really, I always say that my family's business is public education. I have over 250 years of public school service in my immediate family. And I worked in K-12 schools and in public higher ed as well. And I think the reality is that we've got a lot of really amazing, hardworking people that unfortunately at times really get kind of beat down with the things that are happening with them, whether that's policy work or funding or whatever it is. And so this was just a chance for me to say, you know what? These are amazing people that support kids and families and communities all across the entire country. Let's say thanks.
I think that is a most laudable goal. Public education, as we know, here in Ohio, facing all sorts of pressure on the K through 12 range, the whole voucher program. And I'm not going to go deep into ed choice. I mean, it has some merits out there, but public education constantly under pressure to perform. Back to your work, you talked about the long hiatus away from biking, but I know you certainly trained for this, but you did so here in the great flatlands of Northwest Ohio. Has the terrain you've encountered so far presented problems that you didn't expect?
Not that I didn't expect, but it has been challenging. I think I just saw in the month of June, I had over 53,000 feet of climbing. And so that's quite a bit of difference from, I can go down that slippery trail, do that 26 miles and get maybe 32 feet of climbing.
Yeah, I love pedaling the Slippery Elm Trail, and it is flat from Bowling Green down to North Baltimore and back. Like you say, you can do it in 26 miles all the way. I haven't completed that, and that's, to him, that's like that's before breakfast or whatever. So Chris Willis, my guest, Dr. Chris Willis.
That's the middle. We'll call that's the middle half of a training ride.
Okay, so be honest with me. So what hurts worse, your legs, your butt, or is it just the whole mental thing of staying on top of it?
Yeah, your body touches the bike in 3 points. Your hands, your feet, and your rear end, and all three of them start to hurt eventually, at different times in different ways, but they all start to hurt at some point. Certainly, my legs, my legs actually feel really good. One of the things that you have to do on a long journey like this is just manage yourself. So there's never a spot where I let myself get super extended into the red zone, if you will. I just really try to keep things under control. The mental game can be really challenging because you're out there by yourself. I'm out there by myself, pedaling, and sometimes it's hard to turn my brain off, and you just want it to like stop with all the thinking.
If you stay on schedule, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're going to roll right back through Bowling Green. If I'm reading right, next weekend, maybe June 17th. I would imagine that'll be a special moment. I would think that could also present a challenge. Hey, it's Bowling Green. I know this area. Let's just park it.
So I live in Perrysburg, and we'll spend 2 nights in my own bed.
Yes.
And I think the July 19th, if I'm on the bike on July 19th, I will have conquered the greatest challenge, because a couple nights at home with all the folks that I love will be a difficult place to leave again. But at that point, I'm only 2 weeks away from the end of the journey, so I'm going to make sure that I get up and get going.
So, folks, here's what I want you to do. Both if you're public education fans or you just like to see human beings doing incredible things for great causes, you can follow Dr. Chris Willis, and I think the best place is on the Facebook page, Pedals for Public Schools. Do I have that right?
Yeah, Pedal for Public Schools.
Pedal for Public Schools. From there's a GPS. You can follow along there. He's gonna end up all the way up in Bangor, up in Maine. But then you can also, I think there's going to be a link there if you just want to support public education along the way, because Dr. Willis is not making any money on this trip. He's turning his money over to the various school districts that he passes through on his track. And they can also do that from there, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a pinned comment at the top of the page. It has the link to the GPS where you can see where I'm at each day. And right below there is a link to a Fundly page that is where you can make a contribution.
Well, I got to get him. Once again, if you're joining us, that is Dr. Chris Willis. That is the Mississippi River, folks, behind him, right over there. He's up in Wisconsin. He'll be back on the bike as soon as we wrap it up here. And I don't want you to be late on my account. I want to thank Dr. Chris Willis, Associate Professor, College of Education, Human Development at BGSU, for keeping us on the leading edge of his extreme efforts to support public education. I appreciate what you do in your day job, and certainly support you in what you're doing this summer. And please be safe out there, Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care. And I'll be right back.